What's up? What's up, everyone? I am back to address the community. I have been busy like a bee, man. What's up, Scavenger? A donut. What's up, donut? Man, I miss you guys, man. Danielle, how are you? Oh man, I have been away. I have been mashing it. Oh man, I've been busy, guys. How's everyone been? Sheesh. Today is gonna be a day of redemption. What's up? Hey DW, Executable. Yep, the market is taking a big shit. How's everyone on that Segwit 2X cancellation? Hey, what's up, NorCal? Hey, Adrian. What's up, everyone? Oh-ho! Yeah, man. I've been basically doing a lot of deep research, guys. Really just reflecting on where this space is going to be and what we're going to be investing in, especially going forward. Let's not talk about 2017. 2017 is about to be over. We got to look towards 2018, guys. And what is the real deal? Now, of course, we all know that Segwit 2X is no longer going to be in place. So we're going to be moving forward with Bitcoin. Of course, there are people who are FOMOing into Bitcoin Cash at the moment. But it's okay. Because at the end of the day, that is actually a centralized currency, being that Roger Ver and Jihan Wu own majority of the mining power. Everyone's rushing into it because they obviously cashed out on Bitcoin at a high, which was at about 7,200 to 7,400, probably in cash or fiat. And then now, when Bitcoin Cash was below 600, they were obviously waiting for that right opportunity. When they knew that the Segwit 2X was not going to go through, they started to buy up Bitcoin Cash to make it look like it's going to be the main currency and making it look like Bitcoin itself is going to die. But you know what? Bitcoin is not going to die. Bitcoin's still going to be around. Bitcoin's still going to be decentralized. And the people have spoken, man. I mean, if you guys have watched Bite-Sized Bitcoin, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I always give props to Peter because Peter is always on the ball with this kind of stuff. I mean, at heart, he is definitely a Bitcoin maximalist, but I'm someone who's more into the altcoins. I believe in the overall ecosystem that is going to be built around Bitcoin, and I want to be just sharing with you why I'm very much all into quantum. This is not exactly a shilling session, but more of helping you reflect and helping you make a decision going forward, especially when doing investing. It's not just about investing in quantum, but let me just give you an example of what I saw in Ethereum that I see exactly in quantum. So let's begin. Let us begin, guys. Okay, so the quantum ecosystem, right? It is not just a coin, guys. It is a full system. But before we go into that, let's talk about the features of quantum first that make it, make it awesome. So firstly, the features, it is a currency. So as a currency, it has to be decentralized. So what is the meaning of decentralization? Meaning that it must continue to have full nodes or the growing number of nodes. So as of now, we're talking about 1,498 nodes. Not a lot. It's still a very young blockchain, being that mainnet launched, I think, only in September. So they're still very, very young, guys. But when I started, they didn't have many nodes. You know, trust me, when we're talking about in Singapore, I was like number one of the 5. Now in Singapore, basically it's 27 nodes. Yeah, we're growing. And the United States have 467 nodes. Republic of Korea has 460 nodes. China has 157, which is not too bad. Then we have Germany, Australia, Canada, France, and then of course I mentioned Singapore, United Kingdom, and Japan. So firstly, let's talk about a decentralized currency. As of now, Bitcoin Cash isn't exactly a decentralized currency. Is it powered by multiple nodes across, multiple, okay, wait, let me see, sorry. It may not be across, Bitcoin Cash may not be mining across multiple nodes in various countries. but it could be decentralized in a sense that they have positioned themselves in many parts of the world. Like I said, Roger Ver, Jihan Wu, they are very strategic. You know, they can always move, they can have multiple mining farms or factories all around the globe. And, you know, it doesn't have to be in China. You know, I think being a business owner, especially when it comes to that level, I'm sure they would have been prepared for whatever China will eventually throw at them, which is obviously to ban the mining of Bitcoin, right? That's a potential thing that that is happening. Obviously, there are rumors that Bitcoin is going to be, I mean, not Bitcoin, but as in China is going to be able to start trading cryptocurrencies again. So we don't know as in the full effect, but it's already starting. And so that's why the price of Bitcoin actually went up. So let's just see how that unfolds. So for the next thing, it has to be P2P. So P2P meaning that I can transfer to you and safely, securely, and of course it has to be simple and stable. Now, the next thing is of course native support. When you talk about native support, meaning that you will have to have a wallet where maybe it's done by the company itself or the project itself, or a third-party wallet. So it's multi-signature. Last but not least, in this case, in terms of the currency, or at least the consensus algorithm, it's a proof of stake. So we are not using mining power. We're actually using our coins to stake onto the network, and it's gonna basically stabilize and secure the network. So we're doing our part, guys. Now, the main features, of course, comes down to scalability, flexibility, privacy. And of course, there are 3 layers in terms of the economy and funding model. So let's just talk about each thing on the platform first. So the first thing is obviously scalability, right? In any kind of blockchain, you must make sure that you are scalable. So why do you think Lightning is important? Why do you think Raiden is important? So Bitcoin has, Quantum has the best of both worlds. You have Bitcoin in terms of the UTXO, and then after that you have the Ethereum virtual machine that allows you to build multiple decentralized applications or platforms on top of the Ethereum virtual machine. So the next thing is, if you don't have speed on transferring money and working the smart contracts, unfortunately this will never go. Enterprise will not be willing to buy it or even build on it because it doesn't make sense. So Quantum is very, very flexible in that sense. So which brings down to flexibility. So we have, of course, smart contracts that you can create multiple contracts on it, programmable business logic, and of course you must have privacy. Privacy is important because especially when you talk about sensitive things like they are being transferred. For example, I don't want people to know how much I'm transferring to someone else if I am doing business with this company X, right? As you know, blockchain is extremely transparent, and any type of transaction on the network can be seen by anybody and everybody, especially if they know your address. So ZK Snarks and Ring Signatures addresses this. Okay, so especially if you're an enterprise, you can safely say that if you are building on the Quantum blockchain, you're going to have these features available to you. Now, and also homomorphic encryption. So obviously this helps on the security aspect as well. The next thing is the 3 layers within the Quantum platform, which is the Bitcoin UTXO, which is the basic layer. Then you have the Quantum AAL, or the account abstraction layer, which supports multiple VMs for now. Only the Ethereum virtual machine for now, but they're moving towards x86, which is to have multiple virtual machines working together. And that is actually something very, very interesting, because I think I see it as like a cross chain where you can actually have all the smart contracts from various blockchains working with each other. Because going forward, there can be multiple languages, guys. It cannot always be just stuff being built on Ethereum, especially when people branch out and they have their own blockchain. They may have their own virtual machine, right? So you have to have that flexibility to communicate with each other. It cannot be just Solidity alone. So and not many people know how to build on Solidity. So code on Solidity, right? So you have to be friendly. You have to use the existing coding languages that are available out there. Last but not least, of course, you have application, which is the smart contracts being able to be integrated with the traditional IT, right? Because right now we are still I would say many years before everyone is on a so-called decentralized network. You still have to be able to integrate the current decentralized applications with the current centralized applications. So that's basically the top layer, which is the top layer of Quantum. Okay, so next, let me just show you a very nice little ecosystem that I decided to create so that it's easy for even laymen to understand what the heck Quantum does. So at the heart of Quantum, right, the infrastructure was basically between Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So you are having the safety, the security of the Bitcoin network for the transfer, and then after that you have the flexibility of smart contracts. So that was how the concept came about to form Quantum, right? And then after when Quantum was developed, and after the testnet come the mainnet, then you have the exchanges that pop up. Okay, you have to basically have liquidity, right? Because if you don't have enough liquidity going through your or at least you don't have enough exchanges accepting Quantum, how are you going to create an ecosystem? Because no one has accessibility to your coins. For example, if I'm someone in Japan, I have to go and probably transfer money to somewhere else in order to buy Quantum. Why can't I just buy Quantum just like how I can buy Bitcoin in Japan? Or I can buy Litecoin in Korea. There has to be that availability of an access, basically an access. So exchanges have gradually been accepting Quantum because the market cap obviously is very high. It's I think at this point maybe 800 million. So exchanges will definitely accept, because what happens is that most ICOs, they don't really care so much about small market cap cryptocurrencies. So I noticed that a lot of ICOs tend to want to overvalue their cryptocurrency during the ICO period, and that is something that is a bit of a concern because you don't know whether they're going to deliver. Quantum has always been delivering as of whenever I was talking about it months ago. It was already in the developments, and now they're really blooming, guys. They're really blooming, and they have not stopped in terms of their marketing and development efforts. Now, so we understand the liquidity part, which is the exchanges. So they are currently now on BitHum, Coin1, Bittrex, Bitfinex, Binance, CoinNest, and there's also the potential Bitflyer, which is basically Japan's cryptocurrency exchange, and of course cryptocurrencies are very well received in Japan. So let's just see how that unfolds. Nothing is confirmed yet. Now then we look at the dApps. So what has been happening and how come Quantum's price has been gradually moving up? Well, because there are decentralized applications or platforms that are being created on Quantum, right? They have a total of 17 projects, 17 projects being built as we speak. And yeah, it's for example, like Bodhi is like a prediction market, Vivu is a payment channel, Space Chain, you have Ink Chain, you have MediBlock, and you have Energo. So these are the 6 that currently you can kind of find, but there are a total of 17, so I'm sure that they have not released that yet. Quantum already has a Gui Wallet, so meaning that you can download your Gui Wallet. If you plan to stake your coins, you can put them on your desktop. I would strongly suggest getting a Raspberry Pi or a separate desktop. That means one that is not with your that is not your main desktop, because you don't want to download something, or if you like to watch movies or download third-party programs, and you don't want to have like some sort of a Trojan, and then suddenly it captures your screen, your keylogger and shit, and you have your coins disappear. You don't really want that. You want to have a good experience while you're actually securing and being part of this project. So make sure that you use something separate. Okay, so like I said, Raspberry Pi, or you can go and find a remote desktop. You can use an old laptop, but I'm not sure how energy efficient is a laptop and how long I don't really suggest using a laptop, to be honest. Okay, and then last but not least, you have a very important part, which is the community. So social media, as you know, in cryptocurrencies is very, very important. So if no one even knows that your project exists, I tell you, it's really very hard to fly unless you have strong institutional backers coming in and really looking at your project and investing in your project, right? So most of the time, the current ICOs, they usually have institutional backers to mop up any remaining coins, especially at the beginning and at the end. So the pre-sale potentially would have an X amount filled up already. So you would see mostly 50% is allocated to the private investors. Then around 50% will be going to the public, right? So just in case if the main sale doesn't fill up, then you will have the institutional investors mopping up the balance, right? But in QTUM's case, they raised actually very little. I think they raised only about 15, not more than 20 million. But they started off very humbly, I think with around 1 million in terms of seed money. And they've been doing pretty well. So they just recently landed in Japan, and they are already starting to talk about their project in the Japanese market. I'm not sure how well received it is, but I know that it's very popular in Korea as we speak. They have formed very strong ties with the Koreans, and especially because Mediblock is being built on QTUM. And I noticed that it's exactly like how Ethereum started out, where when you want to do an ICO, but you accept other cryptocurrencies, right? It kind of defeats the purpose of being built. And these days, you want to have a very strong smart contract platform that you can confidently take in that cryptocurrency. And I noticed that all these projects in the initial pre-sale phase are only accepting QTUM. That is why the price is starting to gradually increase. And you know why I don't want the price to increase too quickly? Because smart contracts need to have a fair value. You don't want to have something so expensive that you create a smart contract and it's so bloody expensive. These are all startup guys. These are not like, big companies with a lot of budget where they can buy up the tokens and whatnot. Maybe later when the QEA is announced, which is the Quantum Enterprise Alliance, and maybe then, because you see right now, how do I look at this whole ecosystem? I am a startup. I want to build a project, right? But I cannot afford to build on Ethereum. I want to look for the next most secure, most capable team to assist me with my project, and all these projects obviously saw that in QTUM. Very simple, because I can't afford to build on Ethereum, guys. It's like $300 US per Ethereum for one smart contract to be created and run on the mainnet. Is going to cost me a bomb, right? And obviously there are going to be multiple smart contracts when it comes to businesses. So you don't want to be having that kind of exploded budget at the very beginning. So that's why people are building on QTUM. So yeah, I hope that explains it. Now, the next thing we all know is that at the heart of it, you have to make sure that, especially during social media, right, you are keeping your community connected. So despite the fact, right, that they are already pretty successful, Brad, and Brad actually does a lot of work. Brad Finkirik, he's actually always on the Telegram. He's updating us. I think he's recently back home in Canada, and I think he deserves a well-deserved rest. So I think if you guys are in the Telegram chat, maybe you want to just chat amongst ourselves, but let's not disturb Brad for now, because he's been working his ass off, man. I think the whole QTUM team, not just Brad, John has been very busy on the social media aspect. Then of course we have Patrick Dye, just literally being the strong business-minded individual that he is, making connections, building relationships. A few months back he met up with the George Soros Fund. It's pretty exciting, guys. I mean, what more do you want me to say? I mean, all these things are very visible. And of course, we cannot forget Jordan Earls, right? Who is always updating on the technical aspect. I mean, that guy, when you read his Earls blog, and at the same time, he's actually also writing a lot of stuff on Medium. And, it helps people who are very technical to understand QTUM, and at the same time you have people like myself who would like to understand the whole ecosystem, and that's when everything started to come together. And that's why I came up with this picture, and this actually shows whatever that's happening. I'm actually very excited, guys, because when they are able to create a mobile wallet, that's already boomtown. And you know what, I heard that potentially that there can be mobile staking. that is a game changer, because right now I believe that you cannot stick with your mobile, right? Because firstly, I'm not sure how stable the internet connection is. I'm not even sure how viable that is, because I would prefer to have it at home. It's more secure, right? The IP address and stuff like that, I really wouldn't know. But if it's available, and I understand that it's available on other cryptocurrencies, yeah, Quantum is definitely going to be much more appealing, because everyone knows how to download an app. And oh, by the way, there's already a Quantum app already, right? There's already a Quantum wallet available for iOS. Is it iOS or Android? I think it's Android. So you can go and check it out. You also have the capabilities to eventually SMS each other or text each other and send Quantum. Now that's something that is unique. Of course, it's not new to China. China already has WeChat Pay and all that, because in Singapore we rarely have this kind of stuff, man. So I'm actually very excited about what's going on in Quantum. Next, we have, of course, we cannot forget the team. Now the team is literally so dynamic, so diverse, and very, very talented. And that is why I'm actually, quite happy that, Brett and Patrick, Jordan gave Crypto Grinders the opportunity to interview them. We are like the second cryptocurrency, crypto channel that allowed literally an interview. And I'm very, very proud to say that, they don't associate themselves with many YouTubers. And the other YouTuber, of course, was Box Mining. So yeah, guys, that being said, what is the road ahead? The road ahead of 2018. So there's going to be a new roadmap coming out, I think this week, or is it next week, right? Probably next week, because Patrick is busy in Japan. Then there's going to be new API integrations for third party. That is also very important. So Ledger. So those who are not interested in staking and they just want to keep Quantum, they can do so. Then we have the x86. Now this x86, I'm really sorry, I'm not someone who's technically inclined, but the x86 to me, I think, like I said, is going to allow multiple multiple virtual machines, not necessarily Ethereum machines, to communicate with each other. So smart contracts can communicate with different smart contracts. This is what I think it is. Now, there are obviously more exchanges, listings. Well, okay, if that is going to cause it to moon, so be it. But I'm not really looking so much into the one-day moons. I'm looking for the big long-term plays and the establishment of the infrastructure and the networking. Okay, then of course we have the Quantum Enterprise Alliance. Who knows what companies are going to be interested to build. Now, the smart thing that I notice here is that the companies are holding back first. They're observing on how secure. So they're pretty smart, guys. You see, if I was, say, Alibaba, I want to make sure that Quantum is stable first before I even step in, right? Does it make sense? So let's just put it this way. Ethereum was the very first. So immediately when JP Morgan all the big brands, started noticing, so all the big enterprises and corporations started noticing Ethereum. Okay, they all jumped in, right? And then they wanted to see how everything is, how secure is the network. But unfortunately, as you know, there was recently a parity attack. Sorry, before that, there was the DAO. Right, the DAO hack, and then after that there was the parity. So there's obviously no immutability, right? Because they reversed everything. When you're supposed to be decentralized, meaning that there should not be a reversal when you lose money. So everything was reversed. That's how you have Ethereum Classic. Now on Quantum's side, they have the decentralized governance protocol, right? So the decentralized governance protocol will prevent these kind of unnecessary forks. But well, who knows how secure they are? It's yet to be tested, because Quantum's mainnet only started, like I said, only in August or September. So let's wait and see. Okay, so the next thing, in terms of mobile applications, there are going to be more mobile applications because their strategy is mobile go. Now, Ethereum doesn't have that, right? Ethereum currently doesn't have any mobile applications, but Quantum already has a demo out. It's already being tested. I'm not sure when is it going to be launched, but the moment it's going to launch, I'm sure that encourages adoption. Then you have I mentioned mobile staking just now. So, all these things are going to be happening. Next week or so, probably we're going to have an interview with Patrick Dai, because I don't know exactly what is happening going forward, because with the new roadmap, I'm also quite curious, because apparently the previous roadmap that you're currently seeing in circulation right now, yeah, I really don't know, but I'm interested to find out. I'm looking forward to seeing how quantum is going to grow in the next few years, because like I said, all this is being established as we speak. As long as it grows steadily, and as long as you can stake and earn about 6-7% on the network, I think, guys, it's pretty okay. You know, it's not like I hope that it doesn't do an Ethereum, to be honest with you, because if it does an Ethereum, it's going to price out a lot of other small, medium enterprises that are potentially wanting to build on quantum. Because yeah, sure, you're going to raise millions on the ICO, but that doesn't mean that you want to spend more on the smart contracts. You still want to be pretty much bootstrapped. You want to budget yourself. You're going to already spend a lot on developers, marketing and whatnot. Why do you still have to pay so much for the infrastructure, right? So keeping the price around here until there's more solid revenue coming in would be much better. Well, with that being said, that is practically all, guys, that I wanted to say and all I wanted to share. And you know, if you have any questions about quantum, you can always join their Telegram chat, their Slack channel especially, and I'm pretty certain that they are always looking for developers, and they are always looking for new talent to help them grow their business. Yeah. So guys,